Hello everyone, myself Pooja Sharma. This is class 9 Political Science lesson 4 Electoral Politics according to new book. So let's start our chapter. Today we are going to cover these topics in this chapter, that is, why do we need election? What makes an election democratic? Is it good to have political competition? Demerits of competition in elections, what is our system of election, and challenges to free and fair election. So let's start our chapter. So first is the story time. So now I am telling you one story that this is it was a state assembly election in Haryana in 1987. The state had been ruled by a Congress party led government since 1982. Chaudhry Devi Lal, then opposition leader of Congress party, lead a movement that called Nyay Yudh, that is struggle for justice, and formed a new party. That name is Lok Dal. His party joined other opposition party to form a front against the Congress party in the election. So in the election campaign, Devi Lal said that if his party won the election, his government would waive the loans of farmers and small businessmen. He promised that this would be the first action of his government after winning election. So the people were unhappy with the existing government, that is Congress. So they were also attracted by Devi Lal's promise. So when elections were held, they voted in a favor of Lok Dal and its allies. Lok Dal and its partners won 76 vote of 90 seats in the state assembly, and Lok Dal alone only got 60 seats. Thus had a clear majority in the assembly. The Congress could win only 5 seats. So once the election results were announced, the sitting chief minister resigned. The newly elected member of legislative assembly, that is MLA of Lok Dal, chose Devi Lal as their leader. The governor invited Devi Lal to be the new chief minister. 3 days after the election results were declared, he became the chief minister. As soon as he became the chief minister, his government issued a government order that they already promised to the people, that they waiving the outstanding loans of the small farmers, agriculture laborers, also small businessmen also. So his party ruled the state of 4 years, but in the next election after 5 years, again they were not win, they are not get proper or majority seats. So the Congress won the election and formed the government. So what has happened, that if he is doing good, then why Lok Dal is not repeating again? That means something is good with that party, but some negative things are there, that is look forward by the peoples. That's why they are not accepting again Lok Dal in the state assembly. So that means we can see in the democracy everyone have a chance of losing their position also, and any new candidate also have a chance to win the election or get seats in the assemblies. So why do we need elections? Because they can choose who will make law for them. Because without any election, a rule of the people is possible only when all the people sit together, everybody, and take all the decision. But this is not possible in a large community, so there is a need for election. They can choose who will form the government and take major decision. So it is not possible for everyone to have the time and knowledge to take decision on all matters. Therefore, in most democracies, people rule through their representatives, for which election is a must thing. So they can choose the party whose policies will guide the government and law making. So election provide opportunities to the people to elect the representative of their choice to run the government, and representatives can be chosen without election is not possible. So this is possible when representatives are selected on the basis of age and experience, or on the basis of education or knowledge. There could be some difficulty in deciding on who is more experienced and knowledgeable. So if we choose our representative, they will make a policies and guide the government and making a law on behalf of the millions of people of the country. So that's why we need elections. What makes an election democratic? That first thing is everyone should be able to choose, and that everyone should be able to choose their representative. Everyone should have one vote, and everyone have one vote value also. That's why um, election is a election should be democratic. Second thing, there should be something to choose from. Parties and candidates should be free to contest election and should offer some real choice to the voters. That there should be some things to choose from. Parties and candidates should offer choice to voters. Third thing is that the choice should be offered at regular intervals, must be held regular after 5 years. So the choice should be offered at regular intervals. That's why we have a chance to uh, recover our mistakes also, and we can give chance to another, as we can see in the case of Devi Lal. So fourth thing, that the candidate preferred by the people should get elected. That the candidate preferred by the people should get elected means directly they will not make a government. That is necessary that they should get elected by people only. Fifth thing, that election should be conducted in a free and fair manner where people can choose as they real wish. That in election should be conducted in a free and fair manner where people can choose as they really wish. So that means there is no corruption or no any tricks are there. So whatsoever the government and candidate is there, so that is come in a free and fair manner only. So, is it good to have political competition? Because in an election, we can see that too many candidates are standing in front of each other. So, if there is no competition, election will become pointless. Because if we are not having a choices, so how we can comparing to each other, and who will be good for us? How we can know that? And but it is good to have political competition, because if too many candidates are there, so they will participate in a good manner. They will show their hardship, and they will do their best. So that's why political competition is good. So what are the demerits of competition in election? So there are many demerits also in the competition, that it creates a sense of disunity and factionism in every locality. Then we can see that the people's those are earlier friends, now if they are not selecting the same candidate for voting, that time they have some disunity also, or dispute also. So it will make them factionism, allegation against one another. In the elections we can see that parties are do allegation on each other, and dirty tricks also used to win elections. That also we can see in the elections. Does not allow sensible long term policies to be formulated. That every time the new policies are comes, because in the intervals we can see that new parties are every time came. Some good people get scared by the idea of this kind of competition. For winning an election, it can see that the peoples are using many things. So in that competition the idea is not good, so many people are seeing, because they distributed money and liquor among some sections and voters to influence them. some candidates, parties in power use government resources also, manpower, vehicles in their elections campaign. So this kind of things, that's why some people are scared for that in this type of competition. Then why, then also why free election? That because the system works better in the long run. Because if we want to run a government for a 2 to 3 month, that time it is not a problem. But when we want to do work for a long time, that time it is necessary, it is necessary. So political leaders are like professional. If we are doing election, so in this process we can know more that how they will be the professionals, why we need to do elections. And 100% duty is a risky business that people's, if too many candidates are standing or contest election, that time they will do their best. So that's why we need a free elections. How can this be fixed? That reward and punishment, that if any party or candidate is doing good, then we will reward them, and if they are not doing, then we will punish them also. We will remove from their job also, and some steps also taken by the government for that purpose also. And who decide these things? That of course people only, because in a democracy all the things are to the people, by the people, and for the people. So all the things are accountable by the government to the people only. So people will decide these things. So what is our system of election? And that in an election we can see that is general elections, that the elections are held after the term end. Means they are held regularly after every 5 years, and the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha is dissolved due to term end. So this is the general election. So we can see that after 5 years what kind of elections are held, that is general election. Next is by election. By elections are held before the term end, and they are held only time within 5 years, and the Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha is dissolved because the government does not have majority support. Okay, so in a by election we can see that this is the term when in any one constituency is to fill the vacancies caused by death or resignation of a member. This is called a by election. So in our country we follow an area based system of representation, that is electoral constituencies. Okay, so that is called electoral constituencies. So the country is divided into different areas for purpose of election. So these areas are called electoral constituencies, and the voters who live in an area elect one representative. So for Lok Sabha election, the country is divided into 543 constituencies. Means 543 areas have elections for Lok Sabha elections. Okay, the representative elect from each constituency is called a member of parliament or an MP. Means from each constituencies who are the representatives are selected from there, they are called a member of parliament, means MP. And each constituency should have a regular equal populations living within. Means if these constituencies are made, so these constituencies are made according to their equal populations only. So similar, each state is divided in constituencies for assembly election to elect MLA position also. So in that same constituencies were used to elect the MLA position also. So ward at village level, and in the we are making the wards also for the village level elections. So constituencies means seats. Means in every areas we are given some definite seats according to the population. Next is reserve constituencies. So what is reserve constituency? Some constituencies are reserved for people who belong to the scheduled caste SC or scheduled tribes ST. So that is reserve constituencies. that in a SC reserve constituencies, only someone who belong to the scheduled caste can stand for election. So in this reserve constituencies, only uh, SC reserve peoples only can stand in that constituencies. Similarly, on the those belonging to the scheduled tribes can contest an election from a constituencies reserved for ST. Okay, so this number is in a proportion to their share in the total population. So thus the reserve seats for SC and ST do not take away the limited share of any other social group. Means any other social group can't take that seats from the SC and ST. That is only for the SC and ST groups. So in Panchayat and ULBS reserve seats for SC, ST and OBC. So in Panchayat elections also we are given reserve seat for SC, ST and OBC also. And 1/3 seats for women in Panchayat also given. But in the Lok Sabha, till that case is pending, we are not have any reserve seats for women in state assembly or in Lok Sabha assembly. Now next is voter list. What is voter list? Voter list is also known as electoral roll, and the list which contains the particulars of eligible voters is called the electoral roll or voter list. The voter list is prepared by the Election Commission of India, EC. All the citizen age 18 years and above are eligible to cast their votes in an action. The Election Commission of India prepare electoral roll, record of name, father's name, address, age, sex of the voters, etc. are delay prepared by Election Commission. In a democratic election, the list of those who are eligible to vote is prepared much before the election and given to everyone. And but there is responsibility of the government to get the name of all the eligible voters put on the voter list. As new person attain voting age, names are added to the voter list. Names of those who move out of place or those who are dead or deleted. A complete revision of the list takes place after every 5 years. So, but the card is not yet compulsory for voting. For voting, the voters can show many other proofs of identity like the ration cards or the driving license also. How the nomination of candidate were done. So that is that every person who wish to contest an election has to fill a nomination form and give some money as security deposit. Recently, a new system of declaration has been introduced on the declaration of the Supreme Court. Every candidate has to make a legal declaration giving full details of that. That serious criminal cases pending against the candidate, details of the assets and liability of the candidates, of his or her family, educational qualification of the candidate. So in order to be a candidate, the minimum age is 25 years only. They can apply for the candidates, the elections, and political parties nominate their candidate who get the party symbol and support. And party's nomination is often called party ticket. Means those candidates are selected from that party. That party is gives the position to that person. That is called ticket. Okay. Now next is model code of conduct. So what is model code of conduct? Every candidate has to make a legal declaration giving full details of that serious criminal case pending against that candidate. Any kind of case is not still going in the police stations, that they will clear it. And then detail of the assets and liability of the candidate, of his or her family, that they will provide these things to the government. And educational qualification of that candidate also, this information has to be made public. This provide an opportunity to the voters to make their decision on the basis of the information provided by that candidate. So according to these declaration, people have a proper choice, proper knowledge of that person, that how much he was capable. So this is giving the uh, advantage to the people to choose that candidate um, according to their details. So according to this, no party or candidate can use any place of worship for election propaganda, use government vehicles or aircraft and official for elections. And once elections are announced, ministers shall not lay foundation stone of any project, take any big policy decisions, or make any promises of providing public facilities. Means if that period of election, and if any previous government is there, they will not founded any new project in that period. Okay, they will not use any kind of temple or worship area for the election campaigning. They can't use any government vehicles and any other government assets for this purpose. According to our law, election law, no party candidate can brave or threaten voters that for to getting a votes. They will not threat any voters or not any common people. Appeal to them in the name of caste or religion is also restricted. They will not get any kind of votes on the name of any caste and religion, and use different resources for election campaigning, that they will not use different type of resources to win election. As and it is restricted that spend more than 25 lakh in a constituencies for a Lok Sabha election and 10 lakh in a constituencies in an assembly election. They will not do this type of resources. So what is election campaigning? What is the process of election campaigning? That 2 week period between that announcement of the final list of candidate and the date of polling. So once the consequences are decided, the next step is to decide who can and who can't vote. The list of these who are eligible to vote is prepared much before the elections and given to everyone. The different candidates will their nomination paper in the election, then ballot papers are printed. Then begin the campaigning for different candidates, which includes postering, meeting speech, processions, and house to house convincing the people. And then on the specific day, the voting is held on the basis of the secret ballot or using EVM, that is electronic voting machine. After voting, the ballot box or EVM machines are sealed and taken to the counting centers. There the voters are counted and soon the result is declared. If any candidate is not satisfied with that election result, he or she can go to the court of law to readdress his complaint also. So that is the election process. We can see some election campaigning of that is done by the different political parties. That Congress party gave the slogan of Garibi Hatao, remove poverty. That slogan are used by political parties to focus public attention on some big issues. They want to attract the public attention to that issues and get them to vote for their election party on that basis. These are the various successful slogan given by different political parties. That Garibi Hatao, that is remove poverty. This slogan was given by Srimati Indira Gandhi, led the Congress party in the Lok Sabha election of 1971. Save democracy, that slogan is taken by Janata Party in the next Lok Sabha election held in 1977. The party promised that the party promised to undo the excesses committed during the emergence and restore civil liberties, land to the tillers. That slogan is taken by the left front, used this slogan in West Bengal assembly election held in the 1917. Protect the self respect of the Telugus, that slogan was used by N.T. Rama Rao, the leader of the Telugu Desam party in Andhra Pradesh Assembly election in 1983. So these are some slogans which is taken by different political parties to get more attention from the public. Polling and counting of votes. So this is the last step. Once the polling is over, all the EVMs are sealed and taken to secure place. A few days later, on a fixed date, all the EVMs, electronic voting machines or ballot box from a constituency are opened, and the votes secured by each candidates are counted. The agents of all candidates are present there to ensure that the country is done properly. Counting is done properly. The candidate who secure the highest number of votes from a constituency is declared elected. In a general election, usually the counting of votes is in all the constituencies take place at the same time on the same day. Within a few hours of counting, all the results are declared, and it became clear as to who will form the next government. So, this is the process of polling and the counting of votes. So, Independent Election Commission. In a democracy, we have a independent election commission also. That election commission of India is an independent and very powerful body. It is responsible to conduct free and fair election in India. Once appointed, the chief election commissioner is not answerable to the president or the government. The election commission take decision on every aspect of conducting and controlling the election procedure in India. It implements model code of conduct which all the political parties and candidates have to follow during election. During the election commissioner or commission can order the government to follow certain guidelines to prevent use and misuse of governmental power and resources. When on election duty, government officers work under the control of the election commission and not the government. So, if the ruling party or the government does not like what the commission does, it is virtually impossible for it to remove the CEC, that is Chief Election Commission. So, how does EC works? So the same thing that he enjoy the same kind of independence that the judiciary enjoy. Election commission not subordinate to the president of our government or the country. And once he if he ruling the party or the government does not like what the commission does, so it is virtually impossible for it to remove the chief election commission. EC take decision in every aspect of control and conduct the elections announcement. So all these things are comes in that work, and code of conduct, punishment, all are set by the election commission only. So during the election period, the EC can order the government of the some guidelines that should be followed by every candidate of that election. And even election duty, government officers work under the control of the election commission. Popular participation. So turnout has gone up in India. Uneducated and the poor people vote more because now everyone is knowing the advantage of the election, that now people are taking interest in that. People think that they can create pressure through voting. If they select anyone who is good for the country, so they will improve, or he or she will improve the condition of that country. Challenges to free and fair election. Some challenges also for the free and fair elections are there. And that money power, candidates and parties with a lot of money have an unfair advantage over the smaller parties and independent candidates. Muscle powers, we can see that these days many of the political parties used to have give ticket to the candidates having criminal records. they are using their muscle powers and nepotism, that these days some parties have the dominance of political families with the parties. People from such political families often give party ticket to their relatives and known persons only. Little choice in elections. Small political parties and independent candidates have many disadvantage compared to the big parties. Means they are not have a fair chances, as smaller parties and independent candidates are at a disadvantage. Major political parties have quite similar policies, ideologies, and parties. This leave little choice for people to choose from. So these are the challenges of political party. During election, the parties in power are often seen to use government facilities and resources. So these are the challenges of the free and fair election. So I hope all the topic of this chapter is clear. Chapter is over. Thank you everyone.